You're listening to a comic book podcast. It's called First Issue Club because we talk about first issue comic books and a little bit of news on the side. I'm not going to lie.
We got the obligatory banter right now before the podcast starts.
Mm-hmm. Rabble, harumph.
I don't know if I'm going to include any of that.
What we just talked about?
No,
No,
that doesn't go in there. The obligatory banter is now.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Yeah, it's like commence.
Let's chop it up. Let's shoot the shit, guys.
Comic book stuff happening every week.
We've got the Budget King. We've got Greg.
Hey, everybody.
We've got Mike D here. I'm the one talking.
Mm-hmm.
I can't wait to get in some comic book news. Can I start?
Yeah, go for it.
Will you give me the honor of saying it's been 20 years to the day almost that Jessica Jones was introduced to the world?
Oh, are we on a 20th anniversary
20th
of
anniversary
JJ?
of JJ. Can you believe it? It simultaneously feels like just yesterday that we got Jessica Jones, and also like, shouldn't that character have been like created in the 80s?
Right.
It's crazy that something created in like this millennium like had a TV show that had 3 seasons.
Right.
So I don't know. To me, I just read that and I was like, wow, on a couple different fronts. So thought I'd share. It's maybe a fun time to go back and revisit Alias if you haven't read it in a bit, or if you haven't read it, period. It's a great series. Brian Michael Bendis created the character.
Mm-hmm. He's a pretty, I would say, not well-known writer.
Hey, what books are we covering today?
Oh, it's going to be Radio Apocalypse and Robins by Tim Seeley.
Yeah, and Rom V is on Radio Apocalypse on Vault.
Yep. A little out of order. Mind you, I'm drinking Beautiful Boulevard Space Camper Cosmic IPA.
Which actually enhances your brain.
It'll send you to the stars.
It will.
If you're over 21.
And also, if you guys are, this comes out the day before Thanksgiving, pick up a sixer before you head off into your festivities.
You're gonna
regret
need it if you don't.
Yeah, you need that smooth taste of Space Camper IPA to make the holidays just that much easier. Don't use it as a coping mechanism, though.
This is a lot of times. This is a lot of people's first family gathering, like in 2 years. Probably.
Yeah, this will be our first family gathering. There's even parameters. My grandma has put up like a
fence.
No, like a guest list. Like if you didn't make the guest list this year, you're on Christmas duty. So she's taking it very seriously.
Ooh.
I'm getting my boosty boost tomorrow.
Same.
Oh, nice.
Oh, am I gonna run into you
at Walgreens?
Price Chopper.
Oh, baby. But we'll both be sick on Tuesday playing Animal Crossing together.
Great. I can't wait.
You play Animal Crossing?
I don't fuck with that shit.
Okay.
My life's boring enough. I don't need to replay my boring life with animals, with cute animals doing it.
The cute animals help.
We got some new. We're doing roundtable news.
Yeah.
Well, I already did mine, so.
That was your big surprise of your news?
Yeah.
That's good.
It is crazy that it took Marvel so long to have like a super sleuth in their ranks of like cool people that they write books about. And so
wait, is that not Black Widow?
Not really. She's like a super spy. Like Jessica Jones is like a full-on PI.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Yeah, gotcha. I see what you're saying.
And like I remember when Alias came out, it was a smash hit from the jump.
And the show is like definitely
it's so
doing
good.
the Alias storyline.
Yeah.
That's the book that introduces the Purple Man and all that stuff.
Yeah. The show on Netflix, which I'm sure everyone's seen by now, is phenomenal.
This was during the height of Max. That imprint that they did with more serious,
which is the
things.
the original Black Label.
Yeah, it really is. Yeah.
Exactly right. So they did that whole storyline with Jessica Jones being like sexually manipulated and all that stuff that like would never happen in comic books today.
No.
So kind of a weird moment in comics. You can get that first issue now for like $50.
Do you remember what all got maxed? Like I know Punisher did.
Mm-hmm.
Punisher,
Daredevil.
There was a Typhoid Mary series that
I want to say there was a Blade one.
Okay.
And then something else. Ghost Rider.
Okay.
Like all the street level dudes got Max series.
They need to bring back Max.
Did Bullseye get one? Or like Kingpin? I feel like a villain got one.
That seems appropriate.
Yeah.
Okay.
Howard the Duck.
got a max?
He got a max. Like they dipped into it for a second, like they wanted to make Howard the Duck like a funny, edgy.
This is
like,
good off the dome
crude
shit.
humor book.
I'm glad I raised that question.
I picked those books up. Most of them are like dollar bin fodder.
Yeah.
Totally.
And I picked them up a lot just because some of them are just interesting to read.
Yeah.
A lot of it is like, okay, you got the permission to do something fucked up, and you did like the most entry level, just like, can you believe it?
Warren Ellis got permission for the Punisher to say a cuss. And
Boobs and murder and a curse word here and there.
I loved the Punisher one before Punisher was canceled. Now,
I guess the Punisher's coming back.
Well, nobody
Jason Aaron's writing it.
Nobody can like him. Then Jason Aaron, be careful with that.
He's already hinted that it's going to be like
a
complete different take. Like they're rebranding the character.
Word of warning, Jason. I don't know about.
He's an avid listener, so he's probably hearing you. So
Yeah,
if you want to be sincere about it, go ahead and say it.
To get podcast to the comic book stars. You ain't got to tell me.
Yeah.
I already know.
I'll do my news hit. It has been announced that Danny Rand, as we know from earlier comic book, has given up the Iron Fist, and the new Iron Fist will be chosen in February. And an article came out that the new Iron Fist will be of Asian descent.
Thank God.
So I thought that was cool. It's not the first time that an Asian character has had the mantle of Iron Fist, but I think it's interesting that it took this long for the main Iron Fist to be somebody else but a white guy, and it almost kind of hints at how the movies will probably portray him. Or them.
I feel like Marvel, this is a thing where they accidentally stepped into it. I don't think they were trying to whitewash Iron Fist. I think they were just like, the characters, like the story has gone this direction. And they were like, whoops, what did we do here?
I think it took 50 years for someone else to take over the Iron Fist. So Danny Rand was the quote-unquote first in the Marvel line.
Yeah.
And the Iron Fist is just a name. It could really be anyone.
Right.
So the fact that they haven't corrected the problem over 50 years, you're just like, you didn't want to fix
It's
this.
also like not an incredibly popular character, so the demand wasn't.
No. This problem was not acknowledged until they made it a TV show.
Correct, yes.
And then people watched it on Netflix and was like, what the fuck is this white guy doing playing this like weird Zen character?
And then everybody had to be like, oh wait, the character is white? That's what a lot of like the articles would say.
Because he seemed like he was doing a parody of like a Zen sensei guy, which was like, it did not come across well.
Tonally not great.
Now, I'll say in the Netflix series, they heard the criticism and reacted by making Colleen Wing Iron Fist. And unfortunately, the show got canceled before they got to have a female Asian lead.
The show got fucking axed.
Which, like, imagine, like, I remember that moment happening and realizing, like, oh shit, they're about to make a woman, not just a woman, but an Asian woman, the title character. And I got choked up. Yeah. And I was like, I cannot wait for the second season to, like, see where this goes. Or, I think it's the third.
Yeah.
And then show got canned. Yep. And I was like, of course.
Yeah, of course.
They try to write the ship and then like it gets canceled. So I've always felt, one, bad for that actress, two, just like upset for Asian people that were like Marvel fans in general, because I know that was like hella exciting.
Right. I think it's an exciting time where the sins of our fathers are being corrected by our generation before after us. So it's kind of cool. More diversity, as we've always said on the show, is welcomed in comic books, and it makes for a more richer experience. And if you don't agree, turn off the podcast.
Go back to Rogan.
Joseph, if you're nasty.
My news hit is more of a collective conscience awareness, like, I guess, observation, in that we were texting, and I think you, Mike D, were like, hey, did you guys see, we were watching something collectively, must have been a Chiefs game then, and you were like, did you see that Taco Bell commercial?
Yes.
It looked like it had Saga characters and two Marcos in it.
Yeah.
Or, like, as character. And I went back and found the YouTube video of it, and it was like, yes, that is
100% Marco.
Yeah, a Saga character in a Taco Bell commercial. So the premise of the commercial is that there's like cosplayers that are gonna meet and fall in love, but then instead they eat a taco, I think. But they're both dressed as Marco from Saga.
Yeah.
Very obviously.
Do you want me to outline what actually happens in the commercial?
Oh, did I not get it right?
As an ad guy, I see
Dude,
that.
how could you improve on my synopsis,
I see
please?
the nuance in these stories.
Okay.
2 Asian people cosplayed as Marco. 1 man, 1 woman. They see each other waiting for the subway.
Mm-hmm. Instant fireworks.
Oh my God, I found my soulmate.
Mm-hmm.
One turns toward the other and they start to walk towards each other. Marco 1 has the shield that hits a post and it kind of makes the Taco Bell bong.
Mm-hmm.
And that moment she goes,
nah.
When you gotta have a taco, you gotta have a fucking taco. So that sound just sent her like
fuck love. I want a taco.
Out to 4th meal, she just had to get it done despite having found her soulmate.
Right. If it's meant to be, she'll find them on Twitter.
Exactly.
Tinder.
Yeah.
As entertaining as that was, I'm not sure it improved.
It didn't validate the interruption.
Did it improve my synopsis? Like I don't know if I can validate that.
Okay. I'm just saying I see more nuance than you.
Perfect. The more thing here is that my speculation is that
Tell me the more thing.
The bigger thing, or the deeper dive here is that my speculation is that Image Comics is doing a very, very strong PR campaign for Saga that is more than really any other independent publisher has done before. I think that they somehow coordinated this with Taco Bell.
I would love to find. I would love to figure out
unconfirmed.
Like how.
Yeah, this is speculative.
Or why you think that?
Oh, because here's why. Because there's going to be a midnight release for the new Saga book.
Sure.
I think that it's probably maybe one of the biggest releases. Let's just say independent, at least, that is going to get.
Yeah, this will swamp Spawn 300 numbers, and I'm not fucking kidding.
Yeah. No, I think like the comic has sold like over 6 million or something like that. So there's gonna be a midnight release. They're gonna have some feature in like Entertainment Magazine, coming out, which nobody reads or cares. Nobody reads magazines anymore. They just listen to podcasts. But it just is like it's just weird to talk about a comic book at that level. That's like getting the same features like The Rock might be getting.
Mm-hmm.
I disagree, and I think there's a...
Which part? I said a lot of things.
Okay, that this was some sort of collab. Because
okay.
I think that a lot of fast food chains that started with Arby's have like
They got the meats.
A thing with getting niche cultures involved in their ad campaigns.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And Taco Bell has done a great job recently. They had this like Pacific Rim style like anime commercial that was like really fun.
I remember that one.
And they've done a couple other things that are just like...
Here's why I agree with you, to be honest.
Mm-hmm.
They
don't say anything about Saga.
Well, they
it's
don't.
Like you have to like know to
They
know.
don't. And then like, I also think if you were super red on Saga, Marco's an odd character to pick for the new coming of Saga.
Right.
No
spoilers.
No spoilers.
So in that regard, I think I agree with you because it's like, whatever. But I just think like the hype is real for a new Saga, and Saga is for sure in a Taco Bell commercial. We can at least agree on that.
I think it's even more telling that Saga is such in the collective mind now that Image had no part of this in deciding what character is in a commercial, and someone at Taco Bell ad agency was just like, I read Saga. Having these 2 geeks dress up like this one character would be really fun. Like the book has transcended.
Wouldn't it have made more sense to not be 2 Marcos though? Like it be.
I think that even speaks more to like the iconicness of the like. But Marco is a great character in the whole book.
Yeah.
And again, sorry to be such a good ad guy.
Hit it.
But dressed as the same character is an easy sell for people who aren't familiar with the universe.
Good point. It's like 2 Yodas. If you don't know what Star Wars is, you're like, they both look like green people.
What is a Yoda?
You are an ad guy. You proved me here. This is good.
Sweesh.
Yeah, this is like you're on fire.
All right. Lots of news. So
reference to one of our comic books.
Oh
You're
yeah.
on fire.
All right, into the books.
Yeah. What do you want to start with?
Start with Robin.
Okay.
Okay.
Robins.
Robins,
Excuse
plural.
me.
Okay, so this book was part of what was called the Round Robin
Oh, yes. I'm so glad you were going to mention this.
Tournament.
Yes.
Which was a thing wherein different creators had pitched different ideas about a miniseries.
Correct.
And they let fans vote on which miniseries they would like to see made the most. And Tim Seeley's concept won, which was all Robins together in a singular book fighting towards one cause.
It functioned like the Final Four brackets.
Yeah.
Now, I think I need to remind everyone the last time they let DC people vote on anything, Jason Todd died. So they took a big leap of faith here with DC fans.
You know what was an interesting thing? I saw recently they had 2 different full pages done to like
depending on how the
voting turned out.
That's insane.
And someone at one of those like crazy blogs where they sell all this comic art owned the page.
Owned the alternate page?
Yes, and like shared it like a few years ago, and it was like so cool. And it was one thing that was crazy to me was like you had the story exactly the same down to a singular page that was like turns out he's okay or like turns out he's dead. But man, what an awesome fucking thing to have in your collection.
Yeah.
I do have a question though, and this may have no answer. Which page is more expensive? The one that got printed or the alternative one that never saw the light
I would
of day?
assume the one that got printed.
Really? I would say the other one is so much more rare.
Well, there's only one of each. and
sorry.
And the one that's canon is like, oh my gosh, a monumental thing happened.
Okay. I
Like
see what you're saying.
him dying is a bigger deal than him being okay, right?
But I guess like the story behind the alternative versions is like a fun thing that adds to the lore of the pages.
I'm sure they're both over 6-figure pages.
Ooh,
6?
I would think so.
that's intriguing. Well, I'm going to look that up after the episode's over.
How old was that?
It happened in the 80s.
It happened in the 80s, so that's 40
or the
years
90s
old.
or somewhere around there, yeah.
Would they have to do like mail-in vote?
Yeah, or like call in on a payphone, like probably like a 1-800 number.
Boof.
1-800-KILL-ROBIN.
What sort of demented and depraved fans were like, yes, kill him, kill him?
Because people
Just
back then
didn't
didn't like Jason Todd.
Jason Todd, because
They
he was
just
the second
didn't vibe with
he's
him.
the second Robin.
Yeah, and they're just like, get rid of him.
Remember when they did the same thing with Trix, the bunny? And you could vote, you called
kill
it...
him?
Whether he got tricks or not.
Yeah.
Because he was always getting fucking screwed.
Motherfucker.
And I remember as a kid being like, just let the rabbit have a fucking
But they
taste.
did. They voted.
That's all he wants.
Yeah.
They voted to give it to him and he got it.
America's children sounded off.
And they made a commercial with him getting the Trix for once.
You're here.
Here, here. You're
Here's
welcome,
to you,
Trix.
Tricks Rabbit.
Yeah, we voted you in. So anyway, yes, this was the response to a competition. It beat out like a Suicide Squad where Harley Quinn was doing something. I don't even know.
Yeah.
That was the final. So we get all the Robins. And then Tim Seeley's writing this, who we like a lot.
Yep.
Hack Slash. And
He's all over the place with the sort of
Revival.
stuff he writes.
oh,
Yeah.
he doesn't have a lane.
It's either
No.
it's either very horror filled, very funny and sexual,
Yes, funny.
or a bunch of Robins in a room.
I mean, it's so funny that he writes very typical middle lane superhero shit after you write his like the stuff on either edge that he writes that
Yeah.
are like so extreme Tim Seeley shit.
Mm-hmm.
He also is one of these creators, I feel like, that writes like weird niche small pub like
Yes, I know what you're talking about.
he like writes the Crow comics and like shit
Yeah.
like that.
Yeah.
And it's like, why? You're writing like major titles at other
It's
publishers.
a paycheck, baby.
But he still writes these
It's like
weird small
it's like the
niche
guy that's a
books.
lawyer and still works at Kohl's on the weekends.
well, no, but it's like, Cullen Bunn writing the Cyberpunk 2077 stuff. It's like,
that's a payday for him.
He fucking knocked that out of the park.
he did, but it's like a weird niche
I don't
thing
think
that
the
he got
Crow
hold
is
of.
really paying Tim Seeley too much.
I think each of those pay the same.
You think so? I don't know, man.
Yeah, I don't know. Either.
But okay, you said that get Robins in a room and talk. This after I read this, I was like, was crossover referencing Tim Seeley? Because all this book was Robins in a room talking.
You're 100% right. And the way they were talking, it's like this is the first time they've ever met each other.
Yeah.
Well, no. How many times have you seen all of them together with like downtime? And to me, that was interesting. I was like, of course they're gonna like have to hash this out.
Sure. It wasn't not interesting. It still just is not a awesome experience to read a comic with people in a room talking.
I don't know. I enjoyed it. To me, that was fun.
I didn't dislike it, and I think that for a 6-part series, the end of this and like even the beginning starting with action, it's like this is a series that's going to deliver.
Oh, for sure.
And it's going to service the fans because that's what it's meant to do. That's not like if this doesn't service the fans,
then the voting's been
rigged.
Like,
shame on this series. This is a fan service comic. But this also, there's the news headline about the claim that the female Robin, you find out, is claiming to have been the original Robin.
The mysterious Robin we meet at the end.
So yeah, we need to say there is a female Robin already.
Yes, Stephanie Brown.
Although short-lived.
She's still alive. Her tenure was short-lived.
Yeah, exactly right. She's still alive, but was not Robin for very long.
Right.
But there's this villain character who's like a terrorist type who kills some people by having a bomb in a tree earlier in the book. And then later, she's apparently a sharpshooter because she kills a person who's going to inform the Robins as to what she's up to.
She came from dark metal. You see in the end.
Is that where she came from?
No, but she's wearing like
she just has that look.
Yeah, she has like the makeup like dark metal.
Right.
She looks like Robin King or Robin Prince.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
But we know that Robin King is actually Bruce Wayne from an alternate universe.
Of course we do.
I don't know if I'd use the term weed.
I know because I fucking read it and I did a sideshow about it on our Patreon. Go check it out.
Okay. I like this character.
Ditto.
She stages this
first appearance, I guess.
She takes.
Well, we don't know because we don't know who she is.
She takes advantage of this like 8chan sort of personality who has this anarchist terrorist group that wants to blow something up. And there's a lot of commentary in the beginning about being these like, a deep state conspiracy theorist nut job. And so half of the book is like making fun of that sort of person. And then they're all, you find out at the end of the book, they've all been her cronies serving this purpose that's essentially like manipulating the Robins towards some end game. And she's got this certain smile about her that makes you think, maybe that smile is hiding sadness. And she's actually a psycho.
Yeah, much like many of the Gotham characters.
That's my unique take on the Joker. That in my version, his smile hides his sadness.
Call up Black Label.
God, I'd love to read your Joker.
I'm so unique in this take.
So yeah, I mean, I don't know if I'd call this book anticipated because it actually got like finalized before DC Fandom.
Okay.
So it's actually pretty quick that they turned this around.
Yeah. I feel like they maybe had like some spec written already.
Right. I'm sure every story in that little voting contest had been written.
Yeah. I wouldn't be surprised if all of them become minis.
Then voting's pointless.
Are you saying all voting?
All voting is pointless.
Yeah. I didn't know we had an anti-democracy guy on our podcast.
If voting meant anything, then Ruben Studdard would be the American Idol. Ruben Studdard has some hits on the R&B charts.
I'm sure he does.
Okay. Next comic?
Yeah.
All right, the next book we read was Ram V's Radio Apocalypse, which was out on Vault Comics. So,
yes.
Again, something we didn't touch on, but maybe difficult to find because, as many of you probably found out on Wednesday, Diamond had an issue
got hacked
where they shut down for 5 days straight
because they got hacked. Yeah,
and stopped even fielding phone calls.
That's a bad day at the office.
That's a very Diamond thing too. Diamond doesn't have one person for PR.
Well, and And it makes Marvel and DC look so good for having abandoned Diamond, because they were just like, our comics are coming out on time. So the shop I went to had zero new indies.
Okay.
The day I went. So I had to buy Radio Apocalypse online to read it.
Well, that's where I buy all mine.
The unmitigated gall.
So this comic book had everything that I want to talk about on a podcast.
This comic has everything.
It has everything. It has Rom V.
Mm-hmm.
It has Vault. I like those things.
Okay.
It has Apocalypse. And it's got music. It's actually got radio, which is my day job. And in the...
True, this was made for you.
Yes.
Should we just leave the room and you can have 20 minutes on the mic?
That's actually what I always want. I'm always sad when you come here.
You need us to turn on the machine.
Yeah.
It's just
As a
he goes home and monologues in the mirror.
As a preface to this, Rom V says, "I'm giving you my heart and soul in this book, and every time, in exchange for that, every time I mention or there's any type of reference to music, I would love you to listen to that track." He invites talking about music, which is always what this podcast tries to do.
And we get yelled at.
But now we got to.
Mm-hmm.
So it's Apocalypse, and there's a radio station. There's essentially a quarantine area where you can go and you can avoid the version of zombies, which is
Weird dogs.
Rabid dogs, xenomorph dogs.
And I think this is what draws a lot of people to this like place that's last holdout, is the fact that they've got
a radio station.
Music.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Like people are just like desperate for anything, right?
Mm-hmm.
And there's like a little bit of community, and we know there's music here, so we're gonna go to this place.
And the DJ shoots up heroin.
Yeah.
Thank
every
God.
DJ.
Yeah, thank
Well,
God.
we don't know.
Yes, we do.
We saw a needle go into his arm.
We saw a needle go into
Oh,
his arm.
maybe
Maybe he's diabetic.
he's diabetic. A lot of people shoot the needle directly into their veins when they're diabetic.
He might be sick, is all I'm saying.
That's true.
It
It's
could be a mislead.
Oh,
could be
it
Advil.
could be like a serum of sorts.
Yeah.
EpiPen.
So first track that gets played out to the world is
Black Parade.
Blackout by Muse.
Oh, sorry.
Okay. So this right from the get-go, if it's like, hey, check out the music, you have to be like, I'm curating a very amazing music playlist for you. And you lead with Muse. Muse, I'm sorry, my friend, is the most neckbeardy band you could have placed there. Like, you could have done something else, and especially that song.
I don't think of Muse when I think neckbeards.
You don't? It's like, it's a lot of like...
It's standard alternative radio.
Yeah, it's kind of like Dream Theater, where people are like, the best of rock and roll.
Okay.
They're kind of like U2 if Bono had a fashion sense and The Edge had a drug addiction.
Two
but
things
like-
that band definitely has.
I don't know, really. I don't think so. Yeah,
I'm just fucking with it.
I feel like they're just like very stadium rock.
Okay.
But a lot of people walk away from Muse shows saying that's the best show I've ever seen in my
Yeah,
entire
they're
life.
they're our Rush.
Cool. Please don't do
Oh.
that. But there are Coldplay, maybe.
No.
Coldplay is our Coldplay, unfortunately.
Yeah,
Please
I
don't
think
call
you're right.
anything our Rush, because Rush is
Okay.
a very good band, actually.
No, here's the thing. Muse was very like anthem-y and big,
Yeah.
and brought back this kind of like stadium rock thing
Arena rocks.
when it was very uncool to do it.
And so
They
that's
have like epic, nerdy, fantasy feeling music.
like another band I know by the name of
Rush.
Rush.
Okay, they take themselves very serious, like Rush, which I don't often appreciate. Here's the thing: I don't actually have a problem with Muse, and I kind of
no,
It sounded
actually-
like you did
actually
from
that-
the jump.
That you make even the smallest point. Now I'm going back on the thing I just said.
I think it's a very weird track to be like. If you listen to Blackout, it's like, oh, this is like a soundtrack to Apocalypse. I would have done
I don't know
T-Pain,
what that track is. to be honest.
T-Pain.
T-Pain, buy you a drink or something like, just to like flip it.
I will commend your point. If I'm in a nuclear apocalypse like landscape, and I like am in control of a radio station, my first selection isn't gonna be Muse.
No fucking way.
It's gonna be some other band.
It'll be like I'd play like Little Mermaid Under the Sea or something like that.
Did the comic start with him being like, "This is the first time music has been played
No,
since a meteor hit the Earth"?
but like
No, it was just the track to the. It was just the like. It's imagine a cinematic opening, and it's like you see the vinyl being placed on there. By the way, it says Blackout on it, which is not the name of the album, and it's a full LP. So what? Does it have a fucking full LP that just plays the same single
I
the
have
whole time?
plenty of full
LPs that are one song.
LPs.
No, you don't. You
Yeah,
have.
I
yeah, he
do.
does. I've seen him. He shows them to me every
You
time
have
I
a
hang
full LP that's one track.
A lot of radio stations used to get singles
Okay.
like
I see
that.
what you're saying. Yeah. Okay. Yep. You're right. Edit.
out. Don't worry, I'll take care of it.
No, we're chill on that. I can be wrong on my radio vinyl distribution. But then, okay, what would you pick as you're writing this book and you have to flex and be like,
You gotta give me a heads up if you're gonna pull this fucking question on me.
no, go with the dome. I already told you mine.
I would say
You did?
if I was
T-Pain.
Oh my God, that's seriously
That's
your
a joke answer. If I
That
was
is a joke
If I was
answer.
Mike D, I would probably pick something by
Smashing
the
Pumpkins.
Smashing Pumpkins or what's that other band you saw? The female lead singer.
Sonic Youth.
Breeders.
The Breeders.
Breeders is my favorite band.
Yeah, you might spin something from that.
Yeah.
Knowing you, me,
Frank Ocean.
Dr. Worm. They might be giants.
Oh, I thought you were saying like the bing bing. Bing. What's that? You know what I'm talking
I
about?
think you're thinking of Particle Man.
Okay. That's good. They might be giants. Yeah, exactly. Good job on both of you for okay tracks that weren't the soundtrack to an actual apocalypse.
I didn't name a track, but sure.
Did you want to go back? Do you want to pick something else?
I'll go ahead and say, let's say Cannonball by the Breeders.
Okay. That's their hit, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. And so people would know it because you got to play something that people can sing along to.
You hear that opening riff, and
that-
you're like, shit, music is back.
It was gone for a while, but music is
Yeah, I think
back.
I do Jeremy.
Okay.
From Pearl Jam.
Pearl Jam, yeah.
That's a good song.
Jeremy spoken. I don't know what I would do, but I wouldn't do Muse. Next track that he plays, and this is why I love this comic book, because this redeems him. And if I'm giving a score, so if I gave Muse, I would give Muse a 5.5, maybe
Out of 10?
out of a 10 for selection purposes.
I don't know.
The
I
ne-
have a different attachment to music.
The next track that he picks is "I'm on Fire" by Bruce Springsteen. That gets a 9.8 from me because that is a fucking great song. It's one of those songs where it's like people know it, but it's not maybe one of the top 3 Bruce songs or. And so it was, yeah, and also I love that she dies to this song being played, which I was just playing in my head while she died. So great job, Rom, for your second up bat. You're averaging over 50% now. You guys good on I'm on Fire?
I like that song as a Bruce Springsteen super freak.
You think you could have done better?
Well, okay. It's not my favorite Bruce Springsteen song.
Sure, it's way over. It's probably the most covered Bruce Springsteen song.
It does get covered a lot, which is interesting.
Mhm.
I think it's just because it's very like
Anthemic.
it's a little ethereal
Yeah.
and it's kind of different than the rest. It's definitely like if you listen to it's on Born to Run, right?
Yeah.
If you listen to Born to Run, it's
Kinda
just
comes
like
out of nowhere.
it doesn't fit in with the rest of the tracks. And so I think there's something about that makes people be like, that's the one I like because I'm weird. And it's certainly a good song and it's a standout track, but I like Bruce Springsteen for sounding like Bruce Springsteen, not his weird tracks
like
that like
Philadelphia and shit.
don't
Yeah.
stick out.
Yeah, and I hear that.
Like Thunder Road's my favorite Springsteen song, and that's like the most Springsteeniest shit like he's ever written.
Yeah.
I work in a factory and I drive a truck.
Right, exactly.
I'm gonna keep on this series. I'm gonna let you know how Rom V's playlist turns out.
Okay.
Are you guys? It's a good question. Are you guys gonna keep on this series?
No.
I probably will. If I do go back to it, it'll be in trade form.
Okay.
It didn't hit with me.
Yeah, it hit it. Here's the other thing: as I was like, when this book got done, I was like, "Ooh, what?"
I
Like-
want to know how many things Greg has said, I'll read it in trade,
Mm-hmm.
that you actually read in trade.
Well, you'll find out on the Patreon because
Oh.
I have an update.
Okay,
Okay,
great.
like a reading update.
Mm-hmm.
Oh wow. Okay, I can't wait.
Yeah, I read comics.
Shit.
Fuck.
Damn, dude.
Yeah. So I liked it. I mean, this is a pretty straightforward apocalypse. Like, there's nothing. We talked about the music because that's the big thing. The big thing is the radio station.
Yeah, can I give a quick synopsis?
Oh yeah, sure. 20 minutes into the discussion.
Yeah, asteroid hits Earth. Not many people left alive. Middle America, there's a small camp. There's like 90-ish people there.
Mm-hmm.
95.
95 to be exact. And there's some people
Terminus. This is a good terminus.
There's a couple people making their like trek to their like Mecca where they're like, there's music here.
Mm-hmm.
And one of them dies, one of them makes it and survives. And then from here, we got, like you mentioned, splashes of some characters maybe shooting up heroin. Like there's a lot of weird dynamics and things going on. But it all in all, it seems like they're this kind of like peaceful, happy little cohabitation in the middle of this place that's like the outside world has these weird like no skin hyenas on the outside that are like killing everybody if you stay out at night. So
and it did flash to a bunch of like outside world things when the DJ's talking, so you get a sense that the world is bigger.
This is 100% a book that had it been on Image, we might have gotten a double issue, and I might have been like, fuck yeah, I'm in.
Yeah.
It read way too quickly. It was something like 32 pages, but like 10 of them were ads at the end. So it was like way too short. It didn't have enough to like grab me.
Unfortunately,
which is rare for a Rom V book.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, this is what happens a little bit on independents that aren't Boom, I guess, is the editor, if you're a big enough name, just lets you do you.
Yeah.
And says, this is your page count, you do you. Yeah. Probably not enough audience guidance. And then one thing I do appreciate about Vault is they let you just go buck wild with your letters to the editor. Yeah. Like you could put it anywhere. You could put it in there twice, which they did in the digital form. You could like just go crazy and stuff, and they don't give a shit. In fact, they like it.
Write your manifesto and put it in the bag.
Whereas like Aftershock doesn't even let you do it. They just run the same ad in the back every time. So good job, Vault, for being rando, I guess.
We love you for it.
All right, so read those comics, I guess.
I would say yes.
I'm not the boss of you, but like they were both middle, they were both middle of the road sort of comics for me. I was more into Robins, but I don't know. If you're like a mainstream superhero comic fan, get Robins. If you're an indie comic weird niche fan, get Radio Apocalypse.
Yeah.
Podcast over. See us on the Patreon if you want more content.
Enjoy your stuffing or whatever you're having
that's
on your
right.
Colonial Appreciation Day.
Happy Thanksgiving or Turkey Day or whatever you want to call it.
I'm having a turkeyless Turkey Day.
Me too. Well, just me. My family's still eating it.
Oh, yeah. Okay, there you go.
Oh, so they have to prepare a whole second thing for you?
No, I bring my own food.
Do you?
Oh, good for you.
Like
good for not being that person that makes like whoever's cooking like prepare.
You bring like a bunch of cheese cubes in a bag.
No. So I bring like my meat substitute thing that's already pre-cooked. But like they have like broccoli casseroles and green bean stuff like that, and I eat it. Okay, fucking show over.
Hey, I was the one that asked. I wasn't sleeping.
Bye.
I like how we used to do.
Oh my god, it's still going.
You can hit stop recording, but we used to do holiday shit and go like real.
That's true.
Wowza, and now we're like, we got our fan base. We know like it's okay. We don't need to.
Yeah.
Holiday it up.
We're in the sweatpants era of this podcast.
Certainly.
So
we've got people to fall in love with us. We know they're not leaving. We've added on a few pounds. Where are they gonna go?
We've opened up some third eyes.
I dare you to find a podcast you like better.
No.
I dare you to leave me.
Oh, God.
Bye. If you saw a chocobo, would you swipe right?
What's a chocobo?
Yeah, what? Go on.
You guys don't know what a chocobo is?
Is that from Final Fantasy?
Yeah.
The yellow birds that you ride?
Of course.
Nerd cred still initiated.
Yeah. What's a chocobo?
What's a chocobo?
Give me your nerd card.
Do you think?
Thank you for my punishment, chocobo.
Do you guys think we made edging cool? We talked about edging before it was a thing on this podcast.
We've talked about a lot of things before they were a thing.
I've been fascinated with edging ever since the concept was like slightly introduced to me. I was like, I love this idea.
This is just wonderful.
This articulates something so interesting to me.
It has hit the mainstream. I've seen it in many TV shows now.
They made a joke about edging on Saturday Night Live last night.
Did they?
Yeah.
Was that Simeon Lee?
I don't know how to say his name, to be honest.
Shang-Chi?
Shang-Chi.
Okay.
Was Kim Kardashian on there talking about her love for Pete Davidson?
Oh, did Kim Kardashian come on Saturday Night Live to talk about how she liked a cast member?
Well, they've been dating. Yeah.
No.
They didn't? No, they didn't talk about that?
No.
Pete Davidson must have a dick made of gold
Yeah,
something.
he's a stick man.
It's the BDE.
You guys know what that means?
Big dick energy.
BDE was invented because of Pete Davidson.
Was it really?
Yes.
Interesting.
The term was coined by Ariana Grande about Pete Davidson.
That is
Isn't that funny?
stellar. Good for him.
In a bad way?
No, when they started dating, she tweeted something about it because someone tweeted a picture of him to be like, this guy looks like a fucking idiot. And like, why is Ariana Grande
even with this douche?
This guy?
Yeah.
And she replied, big dick energy. Like, this look is big dick energy or something like that. And then she deleted it, but it was like too late. And everyone was like, big dick energy's the best thing I've ever heard.
And then the floodgates opened.